What happens when the world's most powerful leaders gather in the Swiss Alps, when a former president returns to the global stage with bold promises, and when the world's richest entrepreneur paints a picture of a future filled with robots? This is the story of Davos 2026, where Donald Trump made shocking announcements about Greenland, Ukraine, and the Middle East, and where Elon Musk revealed predictions about AI and robotics that will change everything we know about work, wealth, and human purpose. Stay with me for the next 16 minutes as we break down the most important moments from the World Economic Forum, because what was said on that stage will shape the next decade of your life. Let's dive in. Section 1. Trump's Economic Vision. Donald Trump took the stage at Davos with one clear message. America is about to experience unprecedented economic growth. But here's what most people missed. Trump didn't just talk about growth. He revealed the actual strategy, and it's not what the mainstream media is telling you. First, let's talk about the debt problem. The United States is sitting on $36 to $37 trillion in debt. That's the biggest expenditure in the federal budget. So how does Trump plan to fix it? His answer? 2 words: growth and cuts. Trump believes America is poised to have the greatest growth of any large country in history. Those are his exact words. But growth alone isn't enough. Here's where it gets interesting. Trump revealed that Minnesota alone lost $19 billion to fraud. People were coming into the country with nothing and leaving airports with hundreds of thousands of dollars in cash in their bags. Can you imagine that? And that's just one state. Trump's team, including Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, is now hunting down this fraud across all 50 states. If they can cut just 50% of the fraud, America would have a balanced budget. Without even counting the economic growth, think about that for a second. The solution isn't just raising taxes or cutting social programs. It's eliminating waste and corruption that's been hiding in plain sight. But there's another piece to this puzzle: tariffs. Trump is using tariffs judiciously, as he put it. He even mentioned Switzerland as a case study, saying he could have asked for much more but chose not to. This isn't about punishing other countries. It's about creating fair trade relationships that bring money back into America. The formula is simple: growth plus fraud elimination plus fair trade equals economic dominance. And according to Trump, we're about to see it happen in real time. Section 2. The AI revolution and the $500 billion bet. But economic growth isn't just about cutting fraud and balancing budgets, it's about technology. And this is where things get absolutely wild. Trump revealed that $500 billion was invested in artificial intelligence and frontier technologies last year alone. $500 billion flowing into AI. To put that in perspective, Trump shared a story about Mark Zuckerberg showing him a new AI facility. When Zuckerberg overlaid the plant on a map of Manhattan, it covered almost the entire island. Miles long, miles wide, incredibly tall. Trump's reaction? You think you'll be able to do it for just $50 billion? This is the scale we're talking about. These aren't just data centers. These are AI cities, massive infrastructure projects that will generate their own electricity and sell the excess back to the grid. And here's the kicker. Trump is letting these companies build their own electric generation facilities. Why? Because the old grid system can't handle the power demands of AI. So instead of limiting innovation, Trump is allowing tech companies to solve the energy problem themselves. This solves 2 problems at once. AI companies get the power they need, and states with electricity shortages get cheap excess power fed back into the grid. It's genius when you think about it. But there's a darker side to this AI race: the competition between the United States and China. Trump acknowledged this fierce rivalry. The US controls 27% of global GDP, with only 5% of the global population. China is racing to catch up, and AI is the battleground. Trump mentioned his upcoming state visit to China in April. He spoke highly of President Xi, calling him an incredible man and saying what he's done is amazing. This is the diplomatic Trump, the deal maker, the version that Marco Rubio, his Secretary of State, taught him to be. Because here's the truth, the AI race isn't just about technology, it's about relationships, alliances, and knowing when to compete and when to collaborate. The country that wins the AI race will dominate the 21st century, and Trump is making sure America stays in the lead. Section 3. Elon Musk's shocking predictions. Now, let's talk about Elon Musk, because what he revealed at Davos is even more mind-blowing than Trump's Trump's economic plans. Elon was asked about his work across multiple industries: AI, robotics, space exploration, and energy. What do they all have in common? His answer was profound. The overall goal of my companies is to maximize the future of civilization, to maximize the probability that civilization has a great future, and to expand consciousness beyond Earth. Let me break that down. Elon views human consciousness as a tiny candle in a vast darkness, a candle that could easily go out, and he believes we might be alone in the universe. When asked if there are aliens among us, Elon joked, "I am one, but they don't believe me." But then he got serious. SpaceX has 9,000 satellites in orbit. Not once have they had to maneuver around an alien spaceship. His conclusion: we need to assume that life and consciousness are extremely rare. Maybe it's just us. That's why SpaceX exists, to make life multi-planetary, so that if disaster strikes Earth, whether natural or man-made, consciousness continues. But here's where Elon's vision gets really interesting. He believes the path to abundance for all humanity is through AI and robotics, not through government programs, not through wealth redistribution, through technology. Elon predicts a future where there are more robots than people, where every person on Earth will have a humanoid robot, maybe multiple robots. Imagine that for a second. A robot that watches over your kids, takes care of your pets, looks after your elderly parents. A robot that's safe, reliable, and affordable. Elon pointed out that many of his friends struggle to care for aging parents. It's expensive, it's emotionally draining, and there simply aren't enough young people to take care of the old people. But with humanoid robots, that problem disappears. The economic output of society becomes simple math. The average productivity per robot times the number of robots. And Elon predicts we'll make so many robots that they'll saturate all human needs. You won't even be able to think of something to ask your robot to do. There will be such an abundance of goods and services. This is what Elon calls sustainable abundance. But here's the question that everyone's thinking. Section 4, the purpose problem. If robots do all the work, what's the point of being human? The moderator at Davos asked Elon this exact question. How do you have human purpose in a world of abundance? Elon's answer was honest and a bit unsettling. Nothing's perfect. You can't have both. You can't have work that has to be done and amazing abundance for all. Think about that logic. If there's work that must be done and only some people can do it, then you can't have abundance. The economy stays narrow. Wealth stays concentrated. But if you have billions of humanoid robots doing all the necessary work, then everyone can have abundance. The economy becomes broad. Wealth becomes accessible. The trade-off, traditional work-based purpose, disappears. Elon didn't sugarcoat it. He acknowledged this is a problem, but he also made it clear we need to be very careful with AI and robotics. We don't want to end up in a Terminator movie. He loves James Cameron's films, but we definitely don't want to live in one. So how do we navigate this future? Elon believes we need safety protocols, careful development, responsible innovation, because the alternative, a world where AI turns against humanity, is too terrifying to consider. But in the benign scenario, the optimistic future, we're headed for a time unlike anything in human history, a time where poverty is eliminated, where everyone has access to goods and services, where the global economy expands beyond all precedent. Elon's final words at Davos were powerful. I'm very optimistic about the future. We are in the most interesting time in history. And he's right. Whether you're excited or terrified, you can't deny we're living through a transformation that will define the next century. Section 5, Trump's geopolitical chess game. But while Elon is building the future, Trump is dealing with the present, and the present is messy. Let's talk about Ukraine. Trump revealed that he thought the Ukraine-Russia conflict would be one of his easier deals to settle. He settled 8 wars before, some in a matter of hours. But Ukraine, it's proving difficult. Why? Because there's tremendous hatred between President Zelensky and President Putin. That's Trump's exact phrase. And hatred doesn't make for easy negotiations. Trump described the situation as a bloodbath, a drone war killing thousands of people per week. Thousands. But here's what's interesting. Trump believes both sides want a deal now. Russia is ready. Ukraine is ready. The problem is timing. When Russia agrees, Ukraine backs out. When Ukraine agrees, Russia backs out. It's a delicate balance. Trump met with Zelensky later that day at Davos. His message was blunt. If they don't get this done, they're stupid. That goes for both of them. Strong words, sides, but Trump believes they're at a point where a deal can happen, and his team, including Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner, are working around the clock to make it happen. The stakes couldn't be higher. Trump believes that if he hadn't been elected, this conflict could have evolved into World War III. Now let's talk about the Middle East. Trump took credit for the Gaza peace deal, which was being signed the day after his Davos appearance. But he was clear, Hamas must give up their weapons. And here's the ultimatum. If Hamas doesn't comply within 3 weeks, they'll be blown away very quickly. Trump revealed that 59 countries are part of the peace deal. Some aren't even traditionally considered Middle Eastern countries, but they all want to help eliminate Hamas. The key to this peace? The bombing of Iran's nuclear facilities. Trump described it in vivid detail. B-2 bombers flying at 2 a.m. with no moon, no light. 100,000-pound bombs hitting every single target. Tomahawk missiles launched from submarines 300 miles away. Total obliteration, as Trump put it. Iran was within 2 months of having a nuclear weapon. That dark cloud was preventing peace. Saudi Arabia, UAE, Qatar, none of them could sign a peace deal while Iran had nuclear capabilities. But now, Iran is no longer the bully of the Middle East. And because of that, peace is possible. Trump's strategy is clear. Eliminate the biggest threats, then negotiate from a position of strength. It's controversial, it's aggressive, but according to Trump, it's working. Section 6, the Greenland question. And then there's Greenland. Trump has been talking about acquiring Greenland for years. Most people thought it was a joke, but at Davos, he made it clear, this is serious. Why does Trump want Greenland? National and international security. Greenland is a great bloc for Europe, as Trump described it. It's strategically positioned, it's resource-rich, and it's expensive for Denmark to maintain. Denmark spends hundreds of millions of dollars per year running Greenland, and Denmark is a small country. Trump sees an opportunity, but here's the deeper issue. Trump believes NATO has treated the United States unfairly for years. America has been protecting Europe, paying for Europe's defense, and getting nothing in return. Trump got NATO countries to increase their defense spending during his first term, but he believes it's time for NATO to step up even more. The Greenland situation is connected to this larger NATO issue. Trump is essentially saying, if Europe wants America's protection, Europe needs to contribute more. And Greenland is part of that negotiation. Will Denmark sell Greenland to the United States? Probably not. But Trump is a deal maker. He's applying pressure, creating leverage, opening up negotiations that seemed impossible just a few years ago. Whether you agree with his tactics or not, you have to admit, Trump is thinking bigger than most politicians. He's not just thinking about the next election cycle. He's thinking about America's position in the world for the next 50 years. So what does all of this mean for you? The Davos Summit of 2026 revealed two competing visions of the future. Trump's vision, an America that dominates economically through growth, fraud elimination, and strategic deal-making. A country that uses its military and economic power to create peace through strength. Musk's vision, a world of abundance powered by AI and robotics. A future where poverty is eliminated, where everyone has access to goods and services, but where human purpose must be redefined. These visions aren't contradictory, they're complementary. Trump is building the economic and geopolitical foundation. Musk is building the technological infrastructure. Together, they're shaping a future that will be radically different from anything we've known. Will there be challenges? Absolutely. The risk of AI going wrong, the difficulty of redefining human purpose, the geopolitical tensions with China, the ongoing conflicts in Ukraine and the Middle East, but there's also unprecedented opportunity. If you're an entrepreneur, this is your moment. The AI revolution is creating trillion-dollar industries. If you're an investor, pay attention. The companies building humanoid robots and AI infrastructure will dominate the next decade. If you're a worker, start preparing. The jobs of tomorrow will look nothing like the jobs of today. And if you're just a human being trying to make sense of this crazy world, remember Elon's words. We are in the most interesting time in history. That's not hyperbole, that's reality. The decisions being made right now in rooms like Davos will determine whether we enter an age of abundance or an age of chaos. The good news, people like Trump and Musk are thinking about these problems. They're taking action, they're building the future. The question is, are you ready for it? Thanks for watching. If you found this breakdown valuable, hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the events shaping our our world. The future is coming faster than you think. And now you know what's really happening behind the scenes. See you in the next one.